Hello and welcome to pmclounge.com. Today we are talking about a topic which is known as energized work in extreme programming. So, we've been discussing extreme programming for some time now. Check out the second link in the description, which will be a playlist of all the videos that we have done on extreme programming. This is basically something that you should know if you're preparing for PMI or even the agile part of your PMP exam. So definitely check out those playlists in the description. By the way, the first link is going to take you to an article on this topic over at our official website pmclounge.com. So if you're into reading articles, check out the first link. All right, so let's talk about this interesting concept known as energized work. What exactly is this? So, this is a practice which is designed to help the team remain sharp and focused every single day. Now, obviously, you must know already that extreme programming team is basically a team of engineers. It is a team of development people, coders and engineers, right? So how do they remain sharp and focused every day? That's what energized work deals with. Now you might think, why do they want to be sharp and focused every single day? Well, the need here is it basically comes from the fact that software teams need to innovate all the time to solve new problems. Coders are dealing with new problems every single day. They are coding solutions, right? In fact, in the next point it talks about how the software teams they work on implementing new ideas all the time. They design new products, they solve complex logical problems, and they test what's built. So all of this requires a relaxed and rested mind. This requires the teams to be innovative all the times. This requires the teams to be sharp and focused every single day. So this is the premise as to why XP teams require this concept of energized work. Now, how is all of this achieved? So, here are four tips to encourage energized work in the XP environment. Number one is to have enough time to do the job. So, it's a fact that the easiest way to kill the team's morale and take away the joy that the team derives from the work is unrealistic deadlines. You give your teams unrealistic deadlines and the morale goes down. The joy of work it fades away. So XP teams they use iterative development so that if there's something that won't be, let's say, done in the ongoing week's cycle, because the cycle is a week long in XP, so the team is going to push a part of the requirements into the next iteration, into the next cycle, right? So they do this instead of trying to squeeze everything in the same cycle and work late just to basically meet the requirements of the week's cycle, right? So that's not something what XP teams do. And this is something which is important for the team to remain energized. So the team needs to have enough time to do the job. That's tip number one to ensure energized work. Number two is get rid of interruptions. Now, we've talked about so many things around communication within XP, and we've mentioned how coding is not an activity that is done in the dark room where a coder is sitting alone. That's not how coding works. But it is also important at the same time to get rid of unnecessary interruptions. So there's a practice that is getting popular in some companies, and it could be named differently in different companies, but the concept remains the same, and that is the concept of focused work. And how does this work is teams are asked to keep aside maybe 1 hour or 2 hours of their day, and the teams are asked to keep this time, these couple of hours in the day, as focused work. So what happens is during this focused work time that the team has, there are going to be no meetings, there are going to be no calls. Teams are asked to keep their notifications off, teams are asked to not respond to messages. keep the notification for instant messages off as well. That's also totally fine. So team is essentially focusing on work in this focused time that they have, right? So this is where they are getting rid of interruptions. And obviously, if there are no emails, no meetings, no message notifications, nothing, if you remember the concept of flow that we talked about, which is the state of deep concentration, this is where team members can achieve flow by following this practice of getting rid of interruptions. Now, tip number 3 here is let yourself make mistakes. Let your teams, let yourselves make mistakes. It's totally fine. Somebody said it very nicely that failure is the foundation of innovation. And we just talked about how all of this work is innovative work. So you have to let yourself make mistakes, you have to let yourselves fail. And building software is obviously innovative work. Teams should be able to make mistakes and treat them as an opportunity to learn. So that's another tip to ensure that you have an energized working environment. And finally, number 4 is work at a sustainable pace. Now, while working harder and extra a couple of days to meet, let's say, some important milestone, that's generally fine, but no team can be expected to work like that forever. In fact, there are studies that show that teams that regularly work under the pressure of faster delivery, they produce not only less code, but they also produce lower quality code. So this is for teams that work under pressure all the time. So that is obviously something which must be avoided at all times. A sustainable pace means working the usual 40 hours a week. And there should be no dark nights, there should be no weekend work here, right? That's what a sustainable pace of working means. In fact, do you remember one of the agile principles, which was agile processes promote sustainable development? The sponsors, developers, and users should be able to maintain a constant pace indefinitely. This is an agile principle, and that's how teams can be most productive. This is also a proof that a good work life balance is actually something which is part of the agile mindset. And remember, XP is part of agile. So you have to have this mindset of letting your teams work at a sustainable pace. This is because it is most productive way for the team to function. So that's all that we had in this video. I hope you got value out of it and were able to understand the concept of energized work and how you can facilitate energized work. If you like our work, consider contributing by heading over to pmclounge.com/contribute, and don't stop learning, keep learning, check out our other videos. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye bye.